Hey,
Yo,
what's up,
yo,
girl Sarah?
Eric,
What's going on, Eric? How are you
no,
doing?
oh my God, I just had a crazy sugar-filled dinner last night and a crazy quick
Awesome.
weekend for my daughter's homecoming in Florida. And so I just kind of, and then my son, he's intense, so I just kind of feel like brainwashed right now. I feel like I'm going to start talking about Roblox and like video games because he's 11. But how you doing?
Let me tell you how I'm doing. So I've been getting a lot of hate. And by the way, I know we only have about like 30 something subscribers, but it's a lot of hate considering, how many subscribers that we have. Um, we posted the Andrew Schulz video after Andrew Schulz made yet again disparaging comments about Black women under the guise of comedy. Not comedy, you're not funny. And I'll say that again. Um, and we posted the video where we discussed, his style of comedy and et cetera, et cetera. And we're gonna link the video at the end of this video, and also put in the description, so you can tune in to that also. But essentially, all weekend I've been getting so much hate from various people. I'll read some of the comments. Let me share the screen, and I'll just go on the page, and I'll show you guys some of the comments. Let's see here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's one of the videos. Andrew Schulz is a bully. It's the same. All right. So some of the comments here, oh, the Boohoo crew. Andrew is so funny, just like instigating. Shout out to Andrew. Don't watch him if you don't like him instead of bitching and complaining. Who the F puts an apostrophe in the name Sarah? My name is not Sarah. It's Sarah. That's why we have an apostrophe. Nobody cares what you're crying about. Wow, wow. 32 subscribers. Go figure. And this is like the majority of the comments, right?
Mm-hmm. How do you know they're directed at you
Uh,
and not both of us? I mean, I know
well,
the Syrah comment is
because
obvious.
because it's directed, it says you. It's like, um, who are you? And come on, it's directed at me, obviously, obviously. Um,
What's the worst one? Did anybody call you like a hoe? Because
no,
then
but
I'm
like king and like like I was called a narcissist and like all these other all these things, right? Um, I mean, I'm not gonna like gaslight myself and say that it wasn't directed at me, because it's after I actually engaged with some of these trolls on our page.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it was clear that it was directed at me because we did have some like back and forth, and I deleted some of them, but it was directed at me. And um I mean, maybe like there was one that was like, oh, Boohoo crew. And so then that was directed at both of us, I'm sure.
I got boohooed.
Obviously, this topic also is like personal to me because as a Black woman, I felt attacked by the words of Andrew Schulz, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, but what I would like to say is that I just find it so ironic that we do a show talking about Andrew Schulz, bullying and his treatment of Black women, calling it comedy, and then his fans, a bunch of fans, come on the page and attack me, a Black woman. And this tells me that, okay, at least a portion of his fans are then also bullies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I have a problem with Andrew Schulz's comedy sometimes, because just besides the fact that I don't find him funny, which is also my personal opinion. I'm allowed to have that opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy is subjective. There are other comedians that make Black joke hilarious. We've talked about it on the other show. Bill Burr, hilarious. All
Master. He's a master. He's amazing.
hilarious, hilarious, right? So it's not about him making Black jokes. It's just him being obnoxious, right?
Well, he laughs at his own jokes too. Like, listen, I want hate. Okay, I want hate. That guy, I'm not. I'm going to use Disney language. He is a big whale hanging between someone's legs. Sorry. I mean, I just don't like the guy. He laughs at his own jokes. He's got the John Aston from the Adams Family mustache. It's like, dude, like what? Like, are you in the Civil War or something? What is that mustache? And like
Someone
he,
Someone commented and said it's actually a Freddie Mercury mustache.
It's
Let
not
me.
a Freddie Mercury's mustache is so much bigger and thicker, and like as Bill Burr said, he had a Fred. He said I was. He was talking about having to grow a mustache, and he was upset that gay men weren't looking at him during Pride Month. He's like, I can't even get. He's like, here I am walking down Fifth Avenue with a ginger Freddie Mercury dick broom.
Well, let me say this. Okay, Eric. So
It's not,
clearly,
but he's not even good. Freddie Mercury's the man. That guy doesn't have a Freddie Mercury mustache. That's like a creepy, like he should be smoking a cigarette through like a long cigarette. Andrew Schulz is gross. Can that guy even get laid? So,
okay, wait. This is a perfect example, right?
mm-hmm.
You just called him gross. I don't even say these things about him, right? Why am I getting all the hate and not you? I mean, I don't want you to get hate, but I'm just saying,
I want
like,
the hate. Bring it on.
wait, is it because you're white? Is it because you're male? I'm actually asking this question because I'm sure there will be more trolls on this video again. And I'm actually posing this question. Why are you directing all the hate at me and not Andrew Schulz? I'm a black woman who defended myself after hearing disparaging remarks about black women. But I get all the hate and you know what I'm saying?
Well, listen. First of all, you can call the video. Eric called Andrew Schulz a D dot dot dot. No hate? Question mark. Like get him to hate. Get him to hate me. What are they going to say to me that I don't know already? You know what I mean? What?
My point isn't about the hate. My point is that black women, for some reason, people feel that they can walk all over them, make these remarks, and call it comedy, and no one is there to protect them. No one is there to stand up for them. But you, as a white male, you don't even have to do anything. You're automatically protected because no one's just gonna come for you like that. Do you see what I'm saying?
But I think they're attacking you because you're beautiful. I guarantee you, the women in particular, or look, there are men who are sitting in some creepy basement right now, sweaty, and who knows what the rest of their browser looks like, right? And they're creepy, and they're like looking at you, and they can't ever have a woman at your level, your beauty, any of that. And they're just so they want to hate you for whatever reason because you're beautiful, you're tall, you're black, you're like the international woman. You know what I mean? And these guys are like, I can't have that. I can't touch that. You know what I mean? So they're probably like literally like lashing out at you for some like creepy jealousy or something. I think that I actually feel bad that I'm not getting hate because it means I'm not significant.
So basically what you're saying is that these mother effers don't have girlfriends. So they came on the page to hate because really because I promise you, I promise you none of these people that are in the comments have a girlfriend. Because if they did, they wouldn't be here, hating on a woman, I think. But also another thing, I did a little bit of research, and I guess Andrew Schulz a few years ago, before he found his new wife or whatever, he was dumped by a black girl.
Ah,
So I think, and I allegedly, I think she accused him of some abusive stuff, like that he would like, brush his like shoes with her toothbrush. He would like rub her makeup off in public if like she wore too much makeup, according to him. There's actually
he's just so he's not just a racist, he's a misogynist. He just sounds like a total creep.
allegedly, there's a little video clip here. Um, and this is not like a hate on Andrew Schultz hate train, but I'm just trying to understand like what is this obsession with black women? What is this obsession?
It sounds like he's been dumped. I mean, I think you hit it on the head. And look, I don't. He's not even worth hating. But the only thing I know about him, and I have friends. I have friends who are friendly with him, right?
Yeah.
Um, and they may disagree with me, and they may say, "Hey, he's a great guy," but he laughs at his own jokes. He's almost like trying to signal what the punchline is. Bill Burr doesn't do that. Bill Burr says something, looks away, and you're in pain doubled over. Shane Gillis is brilliant. What did Shane say about this? Did you say he said something about this?
Yeah, he didn't say anything about this specifically, or I don't know, but a while back, he did face some backlash because just like Andrew Schultz, handled the black women topic, he
Mm-hmm.
kind of did something similar with people with Down syndrome, and Shane
Oh,
not
and
having it.
So
So
Andrew Schulz was attacking people with Down syndrome.
basically, he was
Hey,
like making jokes. It wasn't funny. He was just like, ha ha. Like, what's
you
the
you
joke?
you you talk
What?
about and this isn't a pun. You talk about punching down.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
he made a joke about that too. He was like, ha, punching down. Get it?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, but I mean, yeah, and I'm not even saying it like that. I mean, like to be funny with a pun. That's like horrible.
well, let's look at the clip actually with Shane Gillis.
Okay, I love Shane.
I think he's so funny too. He's not like my favorite person, like as a podcast guest, because he's like maybe like he's very like laid back. But I like his character. I love his stand up. Like his stand up is top.
Stand-ups.
See Andrew Schultz, that's funny. Shane Gillis, that's funny. Okay, hold on.
Cool. I'm with you. I'm
All
here.
right,
We're rolling.
Shaney. All right, let's check it out. Shane Gillis.
A look at comedian Shane Gillis complete. Here's Shane Gillis speaking up to Andrew Schulz.
Shane actually has been working out, dude.
Let's see it. Hold on.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh, you look good. Is this from West Point?
That actually is.
Oh, nice.
You guys, and you know what?
That's his rival's profile picture. Shane, can we click the video? I just want to hear the sound. I just want to hear the sound.
It's his Sue. It's his...
Yeah.
Nah, you look great, dog. Congrats.
I don't think that's funny.
But yeah, I see that. I see why.
Like you don't get it, you mean?
Yeah.
But that's not me, so
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't get the joke. What are you saying?
Yeah. It's okay, dude.
Are you doing moves?
It's you doing dance moves.
Are you
and
trying to find a guy with Down syndrome doing TikTok? Is that what you're trying to do?
I
Search
didn't
it.
say that at all. I said search it. Search it.
It is going to be good.
GillianKeys.tv, dude.
There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot to go through here.
Down syndrome dudes love TikTok.
No, my guy's nice.
By the way,
Yeah.
That's
wow.
these guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
For you guys to sit here and be like,
Wait a minute.
let's bring it up and mock them. That's fucked up, dude. That's
We're
that's a dude
We're mocking
by
you. Yeah,
by
yeah.
using them as an insult.
Using.
Yeah.
We're using you.
So you're insulting them by saying I look like them, or
We're
you're insulting me
insulting
by
you.
saying I look like
This
them.
is you back in your victim thing.
No, I'm not being a victim. I'm saying the jokes you're doing is not. It's not like
That's PC.
that's not cool.
You know what's really great?
Triggering.
You're making fun of these guys, these Down syndrome dudes,
Yeah.
putting out TikTok videos.
Dude, like, wow, man, he was for real. Like, what a dick, that guy. And he was so stupid. Okay, look, hate on me. And by the way, it's the funny thing is, like, you know what I mean? Like, these knuckleheads who are criticizing, oh, you have 30 followers. First of all, we've been doing this for a week. I mean, look, we've also both played stadiums and been on, like, national. So it's like, so I get annoyed with those little people because we're both successful people. But, and I hate that I even just said that, but hate on me. Andrew Schultz is so stupid, he didn't even understand the ramifications of using Down syndrome people to insult Shane Gillis. He didn't even seem to understand how that's an insult to the Down syndrome people. He didn't even get the math of, well, if they're an insult to me, you're clearly insulting them. How stupid is that guy? He's so, like, that guy doesn't get laid, by the way. He probably, like stands in the mirror and, like, waxes his mustache.
Oh, he's married and he has a kid.
He probably still doesn't get laid. It's a sperm. It's a donor. Sorry. I hate him now. I hate that guy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't have any ill will, but I will against anyone, including Andrew Schultz. Like, again, if he comes out with a funny special, I will acknowledge, like, that was a funny special. But when it comes to certain things, such as these, like, awful, hateful remarks that he makes about people that aren't funny, I'm going to call it out. And, like, I'm sure, I mean, as we've seen, there's plenty of people that just kind of jump on the bandwagon that don't think for themselves. Or maybe they do, and they do find it funny. But I'm just saying, like, let me have my opinion. Let Eric have his opinion, and you can have your opinion. You can find him funny and be on his page and listen to his podcast. But you're not going to come on, you know, like, my channel and, you know, make me feel bad for defending black women as a black woman. Like, what is that? That's insane to me.
It's insane. And tell
Yeah.
them why. Okay, so I'm going to just call them out. Everybody who's hating on Sarah, hate on me, all right? I'm not a protected class.
White
and
man.
I'm a white man, and Sarah is actually funny all the time. And Shane Gillis is funny all the time, and you can see clearly he wasn't even like offended. You can see in his face, like, you're just not funny, dude. You're not nice. You're not funny. You're creepy. And Shane Gillis tells jokes about people with Down syndrome, and you love them more when he's done with the jokes. Like when he does the whole thing about him coaching the special, because he coaches special needs kids. He basketball coaches them, and he's like, and look at me. I look a little bit like them because it's in my family. He's like, so, the other coach is like, is he a double agent? It's so funny how he makes them his boys. And they were making fun of these kids on TikTok, enjoying their lives. Like, what kind of psychopath does that?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm just also just like fed up with everyone that enables it. I mean, it's kind of like, it's similar to what happened with Shits and Gigs the other week, or actually that clip from Shits and Gigs, I'm learning it was from a while ago, but it was just recently resurfaced. Either way, that I noticed that people around Andrew Schulz, when he gets going on these tangents, they just kind of like laugh and play along because I'm pretty sure, because he's like he's a popular guy, and I'm sure they're intimidated. So when he like jokes and is making all this, like clowning and with the boys or whatever, I think a lot of people just kind of like go along, even though like their moral compass doesn't really like agree with it. And that's what the Shits and Gigs guys were saying, that they were kind of like in fight or flight mode, so just kind of played along with it. And I'm just like really and I don't know, I think it's also because Andrew Schulz is popular. Again, I don't think he's likable the way we talked about, but for some reason, actually, I don't know, I think he's liked by bullies. That's my take on it. If you're an Andrew Schulz fan, like a hardcore fan, you're probably a bully yourself, or you have been bullied, so you kind of like, feel empowered by being sort of like feeling that connection to Andrew Schulz, where he's kind of like going at people that you wish that you could have gone after. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, let's attack this black woman because maybe this, a black woman 10 years ago, didn't give me time of day. I don't know.
But again, he's clearly got some hostility. I'm not even gonna give this guy the satisfaction of pulling up Freddie Mercury's mustache is so much cooler than his. He's from the Upper East Side. He's just like a spoiled New York brat. He's gross. He's just not. I mean, I like grit. I like people. I like Dave Chappelle. When I hear his story, like his personal stories, I'm like, wow, I can identify. This guy just doesn't. Why does Charlemagne the God like this guy?
I'm not sure. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I don't know. Like, just when I look at the dynamic between them, I think even Charlemagne the God looks annoyed by Andrew Schulz sometimes. But I think it's kind of hard not to sort of like support Andrew Schulz, or like pretend to support him at least, if you're in the comedy community, because he is doing so well. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't really know.
But is he big? Like, I mean, Shane Gillis is coming up. Right, Shane Gillis hosted Saturday Night Live after getting thrown off the show before he ever started, and then I think he's doing like the Bud Light ads now to kind of help. So they're asking Shane Gillis to help regular dudes get back to Bud Light after the Dylan Mulvaney thing. That's power. I mean, when corporations like Budweiser come to you for help, like Shane Gillis is like massive. Bill Burr may be the biggest. I think what's his name? Kevin Hart is the highest paid. Nobody needs this guy.
I think the thing with Andrew Schulz is, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard anyone be like, oh man, like Andrew Schulz is in my top 5 or 10 or anything like that. So I don't think people like him for comedy. I think he's just kind of placed himself in that like bro category, where it's like he's everyone's buddy. Like, what did you call them the other day? Like did you call them the right, like alt comedians or something like that?
I didn't call them alt-right comedians.
Okay. Is that what you call them? I don't know. I think
look, there's definitely like an alt-right, right of center. I mean, most comedy I think is kind of alt. I don't think you can be funny if you're not a little alt-right.
Right, but I think but there's like this I'm not gonna say group of comedians. There's so many comedians out there, people that we know and don't know, obviously, but I feel like Andrew Schulz kind of has this position. You know, there are these guys. They all kind of go on each other's podcasts, right? You know,
Mhm.
they go to Rogan. It's Theo Vaughn, it's Shane Gillis. It's like Tom Segura. It's like, you know, they all, even Robert Kelly. I think. Like, I mean, there's like a group.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He does all of it.
So there's like a group of comedians, and they all kind of go on each other's podcasts, support each other, whatever, right?
Mhm.
Bill Burr is kind of in that mix, but he's also not in that mix because he's like a more elite comedian, so to speak. So like when Bill Burr goes on, he's not just a guest; he's like a star
He's like the
guest.
guy.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like having Chappelle on or something like that, and they do acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like in this kind of like circle of comedians, and I don't know what that circle actually looks like, but it's just the impression that you get as a viewer that these are all kind of like buddies, you know what I mean? And I feel like Andrew Schulz is kind of in that like circle, and I feel like that's why he's protected a little bit. And that's why I said it kind of started with Joe Rogan, because he got that seal of stamp of approval.
So I was out to dinner with Robert Kelly and his son and my son, and he said, "Eric, I'm doing the Patrice O'Neill benefit, right? So I get tickets to the Patrice O'Neill benefit. I get there." I'm like, "Dude, where are you?" He's like, "Oh, Jerry Seinfeld took my place. Not Jerry Seinfeld. Jon Stewart took my place in Aruba or something. He totally forgot, right?" And then after that, they all went back to the Comedy Cellar, which is owned by Noam Dorman. So so many guys came up out of there in New York, and they were all hanging out. And then there was this controversial video that the guy from Opie and Anthony, I think Anthony, whatever his name is, couldn't get in because he insulted Bill Burr, made some comment about Bill Burr's wife. Bill Burr was the king. So because Bill Burr was like, I'm annoyed with him, he couldn't get into the club. And it was like Amy Schumer, and it was just like all the comedians who did it that night, Jim Norton. So Bill Burr is king. So I wonder what he thinks with an African American wife. I'm actually curious to know if he may be too big to comment on it, but I would love for him to be like, "Yeah, you're butt." I would love for him to tell Andrew Schulz.
I don't know where I got that from, and I will do research to find out for next time. But I read somewhere that Bill Burr doesn't really like F with Andrew Schulz and his friends like that. But I don't know. I just like read it somewhere. Maybe I saw something, a clip, whatever. I'll find it. But again, I can't say that. I don't really know.
You're saying he doesn't F with it, meaning he just doesn't give them the time of day, or he doesn't.
Kind of. I think that he kind of acknowledges that these are just, you know, like kind of like lowbrow comedy.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. So that's why I don't understand why Andrew Schulz gets all this. Now, look, Robert Kelly is not a huge comedian, but he's big. You know, he's well respected. Everyone loves him, and he does the Rogan podcast. So I can understand a guy like, and Robert really is just like a really nice guy. I mean, the truth is, his comedy I love, and I love hanging out with celebrities just because it's fun. But he's just a really nice man, you know. Mm-hmm. So I can see him not wanting to get into the fray, but I would love to see somebody like Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle. If Dave Chappelle decides you suck, Andrew Schulz, it's over.
Well, he did say actually Dave Chappelle was on Joe Rogan's podcast probably like a few years ago. I think this was like shortly after COVID, and Rogan was telling Dave Chappelle about Andrew Schulz's style of comedy, basically what he was doing during the Corona epidemic, because Andrew Schulz was doing these like what would you call it, like 10-15 minute videos, like with a lot of clips and like
montage, kind of
like quick punchlines, whatever, talk about the news, what was going on and whatever. So basically Rogan was saying that he kind of adjusted to what was going on with COVID because, you know, you couldn't go out and do stand-up, et cetera, et cetera. And Dave Chappelle essentially said that he doesn't really respect that as he doesn't view that as comedy. That's kind of like internet shenanigans, right?
Ooh.
So, right. And I kind of agree that I feel like that's what Andrew Schulz is. I feel like he's not to me, like a real stand-up comedian. Like, I feel like he's more like a internet shenanigans. Well, his podcast is called Flagrant. It's like, it's flagrant stuff, right?
Right.
And there's definitely like room for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have a podcast called flagrant, where you talk about people, and this actually goes out to his fans. Like your daddy, Andrew Schulz, he has a podcast called Flagrant, right? Where he talks about people every episode. He says good things, he says bad things, but I mean, you saw the Shane Gillis clip. Like that's essentially what he does on that show, right?
Right.
But you have a problem with me speaking up against what he's, having an opinion when your daddy's doing the same thing as I did, but worse every single day.
Well, I agree, and I also think this, like, when somebody said, if you don't like him, don't watch him. We were watching him to make commentary on his stupidity. I'm not going to sit down and watch that guy's special. I mean, if somebody says, hey, he's got a special, I wet my pants, I may check it out. I'm not going to like blacklist the guy.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is he just doesn't, I wouldn't hang, like, okay, just so you know, okay, so I'm from Long Island, right? I'm a New York City guy, but I spent most of my development years in Long Island. Guys like Andrew Schulz would walk into the locker room and we would pick him up by his tighty whities and hang him on a towel hook and just leave him dangling, screaming for help because he's obnoxious. He's the kind of guy who, I mean, I guarantee you he was bullied as a kid because he's a little wise ass. Or not bullied, but slapped around for being a mouthy kid. And now he feels like he has power. And he doesn't have power because you know what? He's going to say the wrong thing to the wrong black woman who's with the wrong big black or white man and get punched in his face.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna put that clip on this show and say this is called a beating. Ugh, am I hating too much now? Ugh, he irks me.
You're not gonna get any hate. All the hate is coming this way.
I want the hate.
On that note, what do you say we move on to a comedian that we actually really do like, Theo Vaughn?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Please subscribe and help us grow this channel.